Well, hey, welcome back. It is day 4 of the live launch method, and I am so excited. I missed you guys yesterday. Hopefully you missed me as much as I missed you. I have with me our Vice President of Marketing, the unicorn behind everything you see, the unstoppable entrepreneur doing online. Welcome back, guys. Yeah. Welcome back. Now, day 4 is an important day. Because day 4 is the day that we transition into teaching you how to take all this great content, this workshop that you built out with Stephanie yesterday, all the lead strategies that I taught you on Tuesday, all those game changers I gave you on Monday, and now we transition into the money. Now, I know you guys are really excited to deliver amazing content to the world, but I also know that you're going to want to pull out your workbook because today we are talking about sales maximizer strategies. We're talking about how you are going to pivot into the proprietary sales system that we teach inside the Unstoppable Entrepreneur to take your live launch and to get leads converting like crazy into high ticket customers. So give me a hell yeah in the comments if you guys are pumped up and ready for some action today. What do you think, Danielle?
I hope we're ready for some sales because that's why we're here. That's what this party is about. And we don't want to just stop at like the content and all that. It's wonderful. It's a way to nurture, build the audience, but we obviously want to get people in our programs, right?
Absolutely.
That's the whole point. So
absolutely.
We're gonna learn how to do it.
And you might be wondering, why are Kelly and Danielle presenting with a bed in the background? That's kind of weird. Well, let me tell you why. And this is something that should excite you guys beyond belief. Danielle and I are currently at the Fontainebleau. It's one of the nicest resorts in the country. If you've ever been there, I'm sure you share that sentiment. I bring my family here on vacation every year, but we're not here for a vacation. We are here meeting with people that, like you, we're sitting exactly where you are a year ago, 2 years ago. And they have now went from the Unstoppable Entrepreneur to legacy builders to legacy leaders. And they are now running 7 and even 8-figure online businesses. We are here with our legacy leaders for one of our 3 2-day intensives where we really work on the people duplication and multiplication and scale to transition from the entrepreneur doing and being and leading to creating a self-led company. And so I felt coming into today's session such a strong surge of energy in getting present to the fact that I know that there are people literally sitting here watching this live session today that 6 months from now, 9 months from now, sometime next year, will also be in these seats in the room for legacy leaders running 7 and 8-figure companies.
Yeah. And it's really cool. Every month we're adding new people to this group. And actually Kimberly Olsen, who you saw in that warm-up video talking about her first launch, which I think was a $200,000 launch a year ago, is now in this room because she's got a 7-figure business now. And so some of you will be here with us, hopefully overlooking this beautiful ocean like we are.
Yes.
And next, maybe 6 months, maybe this time next year, we can't wait to see you
We
guys
want to
here.
get you guys in this room. And it all comes through this power of decision. And it begins with the live launch method, because the live launch method is the simplest method on the planet to make millions of dollars online from a simple click of a button and a camera. As you see, you don't need a fancy backdrop. You don't need fancy equipment. We are here with a laptop and a little webcam sitting here camped out in a hotel room. But guess what? That is not going to stop us from being live here with you guys, because you deserve to get your message out to the world in a meaningful way and to get the results that you want and deserve. So let's dig in and let's really talk about answering your calling as an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, in order to answer your calling and to fulfill your reason for being on the planet, you need to sell. You cannot be of the highest value to the market that you were put here to serve unless you are consistently able to create content that converts into high ticket customers. Now, why is that so important? And why are we going to spend the next 5 days with you teaching you how to convert prospects into high ticket sales in your live launch? Well, because our free content that we deliver to the market is amazing, right? It gives people a lot of the what, it gives people a lot of the how, it gives them the inspiration, it gives them the direction, but nothing can compare to them saying yes to working with you over 6 months or a year to actually take that transformation that they began in your live launch workshop and carrying it all the way through to achieving the big transformation that they desire. A great example is when people come through the live launch, we've had many people that have come back and said, oh my gosh, I made $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 for free just using what I learned in the free workshop. Well, that's great. That's amazing. But then when people actually join the Unstoppable Entrepreneur, they're coming back and saying, I just made $750,000, $300,000, $1 million from the live launch, right? So it's the difference between getting that little stepping stone transformation and then elevating into the full crossing the bridge to whatever end result that they want.
I think it also it shortens that time frame too, right? Like when you get them into those services working with you, they're not figuring stuff out by themselves. They're able to just kind of reuse the resources you've given them, and they're able to start implementing faster and more effectively with the feedback you give them. And so it's just a simpler way to get to that goal faster without all the time and process in between.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to be really digging deep into sales maximizer strategies today. And we're going to be walking you through some of the core elements that really make a difference. And we want you guys to continue to send your questions in. First of all, great work on the homework, great work on connecting with your concierge. If you haven't done that already, make sure you do that today. Set up some time this afternoon or this evening to do that. Make sure you continue to send in questions, because just like we always do on Saturday, we're going to have a massive Q&A session to answer all of your questions that maybe we couldn't answer here live. So definitely continue to post those questions on the feed. We're gathering them all. We're putting them all together for the Q&A sessions that we have coming up. But most importantly, pull that homework back out. I have people that still tell me that they're using that homework from that first live launch session, and they're $1 million later, and they're still going back and they're referring back to their workbook. So I really do mean that when I say that is $1 million asset in your business. Make sure you're taking notes every step of the way. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the sales maximizer strategies. You're going to want to go into your workbook now. And starting at the beginning, I really want to talk about the key difference in utilizing the live launch, which is scalable intimacy. Scalable intimacy. The market has been bombarded by automation and technology over the last 5 years. People are frustrated, they're upset, they're overwhelmed, and they're disappointed. And we've been talking to you for 4 days now about how do you differentiate yourself in the market? How do you fill the gap? Scalable intimacy is the first step. So as you notice, as people come into the live launch, they're connecting directly with a human being. You have a concierge that's leading you through. You have someone that's answering your questions. We're taking your questions and we're putting them on the Q&A doc so that we can answer them. It's all about human to human connection. So the first thing that's going to drive sales in your live launch is from the moment that someone enters your group, you want to begin building rapport with them in the chat. So the first thing that you want to write down there is scalable intimacy. And the way that you're going to use scalable intimacy is two-way communication. And you guys remember on Monday when I was walking you through what is the distinction between the live launch and everything else being taught on the market, it's the fact that there is two-way communication. You're taking people from being passive participants to active participants. That's why we ask you to take notes. That's why we ask you to do your homework. I saw people that were literally, my team was messaging this morning and saying, hey guys, we have people setting up their Facebook groups. We have people that just sent us their banner that they just created for their brand new group. We have people beginning to do lead gen. We have people that have already been taking action on what they're learning. That is absolutely crucial. And that is the first step in transitioning from content to conversion. Number two is you want to really engage your audience, right? You want people to be participating. You want them to show up to your lives. You want them talking to their concierges. And so some of the ways that you want to do that is to run giveaways. You want to keep that engagement going. You want people to take action, right? We don't just share the content so you can sit there and get more information. We want you to go start the Facebook group, generate the leads. We want you to begin engaging with the content we're teaching because we want you to have those quick wins, right? We want you to see what is possible with just this free content. So you want to begin to incentivize that. So incentivizing that with engagement, participation sort of things, giveaways while you're live. You might be able to implement some of that on the homework threads. Hey, everyone who
comments on this homework thread for day 2, we're going to be giving away, you're entered to win this hoodie or this, whatever you might have for your brand. But you want to incentivize that participation, because the more people are participating, the more likely they are to, number one, really begin to engage with you and your brand and build that two-way interaction, that relationship. And the more likely they are to see that, hey, what these people online are teaching me, it's effective. I can go do it. I can actually make progress towards these things that they're talking about. And that sense of that momentum, those quick wins, it keeps people involved. It keeps them wanting to come back. You guys know, if you were on the session yesterday with Stephanie and you began working through all of that, what your workshop looks like, you've got some excitement. You're kind of like, all right, I can do this. Like, my people are ready. It gives you a sense of, hey, like, this is something we can accomplish. So any way that you can incentivize that is really going to be helpful.
Yeah. So you notice that we do giveaways all the time, all throughout launch, because we want to thank the people that are completing the homework, that are showing up live, that are going through the replays. And later in today's session, we're going to be announcing our scholarship winner. For us, one of the biggest things is we love to give back. We love to give back, and we love to thank the people that worked hard throughout this session, showed up, gave it their all. And we understand that some of you guys are going to join the Unstoppable Entrepreneur, and some of you guys may not quite be able to join the Unstoppable Entrepreneur. A little later in today's session, we are going to be announcing a scholarship winner. We do this on Thursday every single time we do a live launch workshop. So, from giveaways to incentives to scholarship giveaways, that's right. If you want to be in consideration for that, I want to see you active on that feed right now. I want to see your comments. I want to see the action that you're taking. I want to see what you guys are doing. I see great comments coming in. People are saying, woohoo, giving back. That's awesome. Love giving back. Scholarship. Yeah. I see people saying engaging the audience. I see people saying they're super pumped and inspired from yesterday's session, which is awesome. So you want to make sure you're utilizing those incentives to keep people active and engaged. You want to give them one actionable step after each session that they go through. And this really leads into number 3, which is the R's, right? It's rapport, it's relationship, and it's reciprocity. Someone throw that in the chat for me. It's rapport, relationship, and reciprocity. Now, one of the biggest things that gets missed in traditional launch methods is that there is no rapport because it's all pre-recorded. There is no relationship because no one's talking to anyone. They're sitting as a passive participant watching a recorded video. And there's no reciprocity because you don't get people actually taking action because there's no two-way communication. If these light bulbs aren't going off and just going crazy for you guys, these things that we're walking you through, we're giving you the blueprint of why you have not hit 7 or 8 figures yet. And I am telling you, and I'm breaking down for you all the changes that you need to start making right now, right here today, and need to be inserting into your live launch that are going to convert into hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in your business. So when you think about the 3 R's, relationship, rapport, and reciprocity, when you make deposits in the reciprocity bank and you get someone to take a new action for free during your live launch, they want to keep taking action. We talked about this in the earlier sessions, but it's the law of action, right? And the law of action says that an object in motion is going to stay in motion unless something with a greater force comes in its way and stops it. So when you get someone to take action in your live launch workshop, guess what? They are then going to want to keep taking action, which means that they are going to want to take that next step to work with you to go from the little transformation that they got for free in the workshop to the big transformation they're going to get by working with you over the longer term. Okay. So number 3 is the 3 R's. Yes, Melanie, thank you so much. She has the diamonds going up. I love it. Melanie, a girl after my own heart. Love those diamonds. 3 R's equal results. That's right. Very, very good. Okay, Danielle, you want to give them number 4?
Yeah. So number 4 is we want to have our people experience the win, right? We want them to come into our workshop and feel as though they have actually started making progress. We want them to experience these small steps of progress towards their goal, because we know people come into a free workshop like this and maybe they are familiar with your brand, maybe they're not, maybe this is their first engagement with you, and you're showing them that you have the skill set to help them make progress towards their goals, but you're also showing them that you're kind of giving that hope to them. Hey, this is what's possible. This is what you're capable of achieving. These are some steps you can take, and they're doing it. They're doing it live with you. And if they're in the messages with your team, they're with their concierge, they're getting real feedback. They're getting that reciprocal relationship. You're building that rapport, helping them through that process. They're experiencing that win in a way that is going to impact their, number one, ability to believe in themselves.
Yeah.
Number two, their ability to believe in you as the person who can help them get to their goals and the transformation that they want. And it's going to, again, create that progress, that forward movement where they're already seeing, hey, like these little actions I'm taking, I'm getting some results. I feel this momentum rising, this excitement rising, and I want to continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And number 5 is all about becoming the one and only. So you guys hear me talk incessantly about filling the gap. And we talked about this on day 1. We talked about this on day 2. When you're designing your marketing message, when you're designing your live launch, when you're looking at your program design, and when you're looking at the workshop that you're putting on, your goal in every single step is to be the one and only. It's to catapult to category of 1. And we have done that. We have catapulted our business to category of 1. We have become the best known accountability-led business incubator in the world. We're one of the fastest growing coaching companies in the world now because of this very thing that we're talking about right here, right now. Your competitors are all doing the same thing. They're looking at each other. They're following each other. They're copying each other. What we want you to do is step outside the box and really look at what is not being fulfilled in your market and what is not being fulfilled in the content that's being delivered or the workshops that people are putting on or the launches that people are doing. I mean, the vast majority of launches I've sat through, after I sat through one session, I said, I'll never go back again because I just listened to someone talk about themselves for 45 minutes. They taught for 5 minutes and then they pitched for 35. And I said, wow, I'm not going to follow that person anymore. I'm not going to listen to their content anymore. They just wasted my time. So what you have to ask yourself is, to catapult to category of 1, how do you zig when everyone else is zagging? How do you do something so different, so radical, that is so different from what is being experienced in the rest of your market, that when people experience your workshop, they go out and they tell 10 other people, and then the snowball builds and builds and builds. So these are these little things that seem like they're little nuances, and you're probably like, well, how does that generate sales? Again, the momentum of helping people get a win for free directly leads into, when you pivot into the invitation, people are already there. They're already at yes, because you've helped them overcome those psychological hurdles.
Yeah. And I would add to that, it does take, you have to be brave when the whole market is over here and they're doing the same thing. There's that pull of like, okay, well, that's what everyone's doing. I should be doing that. And so it requires you to really stand in your convictions, to really be brave enough to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go over here. There is a gap in my market and no one is filling it. And I'm going to do the work. I'm going to be the person who says, hey, I'm here. I'm filling the gap and I'm going to help you get to where you want to go. And it's not going to look like everybody else. But I think that there are people here that are brave enough to do that. I think that you guys are here because you crave something different. And you were tired of the pitch fest, like the I'm so great and then here by my thing. And you were ready for something more because you want to deliver that for your people as well. And so I'm super excited for us to talk about how you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be talking about our scholarship winner in just a moment, but I do want to move into the next section, which is really helping you guys to make this real. So I want you to sit up a little straighter in your seat, and I want you to get ready because we're about to get your calendar set up to get your first live launch on the books. And here's the thing, and I want to emphasize this. I was literally just talking to our 7- and 8-figure clients in the Legacy Leaders event that we're doing today. Hence, again, for anyone who joined us late, we're in a hotel room because we are at the Fontainebleau on the beach in Miami, meeting with our 7- and 8-figure clients who, for many of them, just months ago, were sitting in your exact shoes, and they were able to make these massive leaps because they came in, joined the Unstoppable Entrepreneur, and ended up elevating into legacy leaders. But let's really make this real. I want to remind you guys that you are going to do 6 to 8 cycles of your live launch per year. Write that down. And maybe someone can get this in the chat. You're going to do 6 to 8 cycles a year. You're going to design your workshop one time. You're going to design your workbook one time, and you're going to use that asset over and over again. Okay. And my team gets mad at me because they see my sessions and they look at my notes and they're like, Kelly, that's from 2 years ago. What are you doing? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I live what I teach. I designed this 2 years ago. And guess what? We are doing nothing but helping people get bigger and bigger and bigger and better results faster with this. And the reason why is because I have absolute mastery. I can teach this in my sleep. I can help you learn this in your sleep because I'm not creating a new launch every time we're going live. We are following and doing exactly what we teach you. And I want you guys to understand that that one tip that I just went over with you will save you hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it will add years back to your life. Like, I'm not kidding. It will add years back to your life. So 6 to 8 cycles a year. Okay. As far as your calendar goes, you're going to give yourself about 4 weeks of lead up. So you're going to begin promoting about 4 weeks out. Okay. And from a strategy and communication standpoint, you are going to send 3 to 5 emails to your list. I don't care if right now it's mom, dad, and your dog. That's okay. They might forward it out to a few friends. We all
Moms
start
always
somewhere.
like to support you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to send 3 to 5 emails, and you are going to do videos for 9 days straight at the same time. So as we talked about on day 1, you're teaching days 1 through 4. You're then pivoting into your invitation. And then you are in 5 days of selling where you're actually doing Q&A. You're doing live testimonials. We'll talk later in the week about all of the components of your 5 days of selling. But I want you to know that. So same days every single time. And let me tell you something, guys. It takes 10,000 hours to create mastery. The reason why I was failing at launches over and over again is that the way that launches are taught, it's that you create a new launch every time you do it, and you only launch a few times a year. So if you calculate the math on how long it would take to develop mastery of your launch following that method, I would be over 100 years old. So I really want you guys to understand the distinction and the power of what we're teaching. If you want to make millions and millions of dollars online, you have to create mastery. In order to create mastery, you have to run drills, right? You have to do something over and over again to get good at it. Most of you guys, quite frankly, are probably not good at launching. I wasn't good at launching, and it's not your fault. It's because the way that you've been taught, you couldn't possibly get good because you're not doing enough launches. Okay. So you're going to do 5 days, you're going to be teaching on day 4, you're going to flip into your invitation. You're going to have 5 days of selling where you're actually inviting people, you're answering questions, you're doing testimonials, you're doing all the buying triggers, which we're going to teach you about later in the sessions, but you're really creating this experience. And by the end of those 9 days, people are so invested in you. They are your fans for life. And what I really want to emphasize more than anything, and I talk about this with my team all the time, like the sales that come from live launch are amazing. But the most important thing that comes from live launch is the brand building. And maybe you want to talk a little bit about that, Danielle.
Yeah. So I think with traditional launching, you're really banking all of this power on these, couple of weeks, right? So your team is doing all this lead up. They're doing all this work. It's brand new. They're creating all new assets. They're doing all these things. You're doing your traditional launch, and then it kind of all goes away and you're creating something new. And what happens is you're sending all of these different messages out to the market. People are not sure what you're about, what you stand for, and they're not really invested because that's a really short amount of time. That's, maybe they're on one webinar for an hour and a half and they're like, oh, okay, there's that girl talking about that thing. They're not invested. Well, you guys, if you're watching this video right now, you are invested. Yes. You've been with us at least 4 hours. You're probably talking to someone in the GMs. You'll probably be with us for several hours. You feel like you're part of the family. And I hope you feel like you're part of the family because you are part of the family. There's a much deeper investment that comes from building this relationship over this period of time. And when it's really connected to progress, and you're that person, you're the brand that is helping them make progress, the power of that is amplified times 1,000. Yeah. So it's not just you getting on there for an hour saying, hey, like you should like me and buy my stuff. You're serving, you're building that rapport, that trust, that relationship. You're helping people accomplish their goals. And what does that do? That gives your brand power that you can't get any other way. Yeah. It gives your brand credibility that you won't get any other way. And it gives you that sense of like, wow, those people care. Like they really, really care. And when you serve in a way and actually do care, that's something that does get noticed, because let's be honest, there's a lot of people in our industries who don't come across as though they care. So building that love for the brand is just baked into this process. You don't have to manufacture it. You're just showing up, you're serving, and that will get noticed. And again, it creates fans for life, which is wonderful for referrals. It's wonderful for people who are like, oh my gosh, they're posting on their Instagram and tagging you in it. That's getting you in front of people you would never get in front of, in addition to all the sales you're going to make, which is a pretty sweet deal. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to address a couple of things that you might be thinking or feeling right now. First of all, I shared this in the first session, but we failed our way to 8 figures. We struggled with launching. I lost money on pretty much every launch that I had ever done. And the whole birth of Live Launch came out of me getting on the phone with my team and saying, this just isn't working, and we can't spend any more time or any more money on any of these things anymore. We're throwing it all out the window, and we're going to create our own way of doing this. And again, when I learned launching, there was no such thing as live streaming. So it made sense that something new needed to be birthed and evolved in order to, create the next level of performance. But really what I want to share with all of you guys is, you may be sitting here saying, I sell 1-to-1, or I sell high ticket, or I sell low ticket, or my program is short, or my program is long. And you're like, you have all these things spinning around in your head. If you're doing 6 or 8 cycles a year, how does that work as far as orientations? You have all these questions of like, yes, how do I make this work for me? We teach A to Z, all of those nuances. The bottom line about Live Launch, it is so agile. And I say it is so forgiving, meaning you don't need to be perfect, right? You don't need to be this great presenter, this great salesperson. It is so forgiving. And it is so... the authenticity of being live and the availability to be present with your people replaces so much that you don't need to worry about, that you would need to worry about with these other methods. But I want you all to know, really from the bottom of my heart, I know that as an entrepreneur, if you're sitting here watching this today, you have been working far too hard for far too little for far too long. It's the only reason you're here. You deserve better. You're capable of more, and you have a huge vision for what you want to do. And right now, the work that you're putting in is not yielding results that match that. And what I want you to know is, Live Launch can be sold for high ticket. It can be sold for low ticket. It can be sold for 1-to-1. It can be sold into a group. It can be sold for things that you have orientation for once a year, 100 times a year. It does not matter. It is so incredibly agile. But we have a very distinct way that we teach entrepreneurs to use Live Launch, which is selling into a high ticket, year-long, multi-$1,000 program between $10,000 and $30,000 a year, in which you can do orientations every 6 to 8 weeks and bring people in between without missing a beat. It's fluid, it's simple, it's systematic, and it will work for you. And we do walk you through inside the Unstoppable Entrepreneur, A to Z, how to take your offer and how to massage it to match these criteria so that you get minimum input, maximum output in your business. And so that you stop working 80 hours a week for an income that matches 10. We want you working, 40 hours a week for an income that matches, 500 times what you're doing now. Exactly. So I don't want you to think that any energy or effort has been wasted up until now. I want you to know that, whatever it is that you're thinking or feeling right now, we all were there. That's why we're having this conversation right now. It's why we want to help you to make this transition, and nothing was wasted. And I also believe energetically that, I want you guys to know that you were brought here for a reason. Like Danielle said this earlier, like, you don't make it to day 4 sitting in on your 4th hour with us unless you were meant to be here so that you were empowered and enabled to go out in the market, create your own Live Launch, and really make the difference that you seek to create in the world. Thank you guys so much. I see so many awesome comments coming in. I see you guys, amen, it's brilliant, fluid systems. I love it. Amen. Hallelujah. I love it. You guys, I love the energy today. Thank you guys so much. Oh my gosh. Zoha said, I have learned so much. We need to go through it all together. I am meant to be here. So inspiring. Go ahead, Danielle.
Yeah, I think one of the other things too that's important to remember is that all of this time that you spend in these other systems, it's actually helped you understand your gap better. So again, like Kelly said, it's not wasted, but you are here for a purpose. And I would like to also challenge you to think about all the people that aren't getting what they need in these other places. And now you know. Now you have a system. Now you understand that there's so much more, and they are waiting for you. They're waiting for you to stop the old ways, to say, okay, I want a different result, so I'm going to do something different. And they're waiting for you to show up, and they're waiting for you to serve in a way that's going to get them to their results. So I just want to encourage you that while none of that was wasted, it's given you insight and wisdom. And now what are you going to do with it? How are you going to take this and say, okay, my people deserve better, and build consistent, reliable income? I think that's the other beauty of the live launch, is as you run your reps, as you get better, you begin to create consistent, reliable results. It's no more, I think the hard part of traditional launching is you're just kind of putting all your hope in these like 1 hour things. And then if they are not amazing, if they don't convert, you just spent weeks of your team's time, thousands of dollars, and now you have to recover, do it again, redo it. Again, this is a forgiving method. It helps you connect with your people. You have real live interaction. We know every group's a little different. We know, hey, this group's really got questions about this. We can respond to that in real time. We can give you real answers. We can help you get real wins, because we're not putting all our hope in this one little thing. We've got all these sessions. You know, Q&A sessions are different every week, every launch. You know, your questions might be totally different than people who did this in July, and we can respond to that. But what it does is it gives you a system that you can begin to rely on. The way we teach our clients to build out their programs, they're not hoping every month to wake up and get a whole bunch of new clients. They know. They have a baseline. It's continuous. It's reliable. And every launch, they're building on it. They're not just replacing something that's been gone away with. They're building on that, which is why we have so many people join our millionaire calls every month. New people. That's why we had people who 6 months ago were making $100,000 in their business that are making over $1 million in their business.
Absolutely.
Here in Florida with us.
And I want to set the expectation. We're probably going to go until about 1:15 today. So we do have more content to cover. I do want to share a couple stories with you guys that I think are really important. And the first one is that when I started my business, I was working full time. I had come from a family of 5. We were living just above the poverty line. I had struggled financially my entire life. I worked countless hours to create financial freedom as an executive for a Fortune 500. I did not want to quit that job to start a new business, because I had just dedicated literally every ounce of my being since the day that I graduated college to creating stability in my life. Okay. I signed up for one of these programs to learn one of these other traditional launch methods. And I was built up so much, and I had invested thousands and thousands of dollars, high 5-figure investment. And I worked so hard on my launch. And it was just like Danielle said, it was a very short form launch, very much the way that traditional launches are taught. And I was a great presenter. I was a great speaker. I was great at sales. I taught sales for a living. I had trained hundreds of sales reps. I was so confident that this launch was going to be so huge for me that I actually took off multiple days of work following this launch, because I thought I was going to be so busy enrolling dozens and dozens of new students in this program that I needed to have off of work. So I took off the rest of the week, anticipating that I would be so busy enrolling students. I closed zero. I was curled up in a ball on the floor. I think I was 4 months pregnant at the time with Madison, bawling my eyes out. I had just invested a high 5-figure investment, not just in the coaching program, on top of that, on Facebook ads, on top of that, building assets, on top of that, copywriting, on top of that, graphics. Okay. I'm on the ball. I'm in a ball, crying my eyes out. And I'm saying to myself, God, why? I am giving everything I have. Everything I have in my heart of hearts. I was like, I can't work any harder. I can't do this anymore. Why? And I was ready. And I knew I had value to bring to the world. So I just want to share that story with you guys, because I want you to know that maybe you're feeling like that right now. And I want you to know without a shadow of a doubt, that's one story I could tell you. I have 50 of those. I have 50 of those stories I could tell you. So if you're feeling that way right now, I want you to know you're here for a reason. Like, you are here for a reason. And then I cried yesterday. And the reason I cried yesterday was because I literally got a Facebook message from a client of ours that said, Kelly, you're the third person I'm telling. Now imagine all the people in your life that you could tell this to. She said, you're the third person I'm telling. We just bought our first house for cash because of the live launch method. I want to thank you so much because literally my whole life has changed. And I sat there and I cried and I said to myself, oh my God, I went from being on the floor. I forgot about that story, by the way. I think I blacked out all of my horrible launch stories because I have so many, by the way. If anyone needs to feel better about their launch failures, I can help you. I promise. I went from, I totally forgot about that story about being in the ball crying because it's been a while since that happened. But when I read that message that I got yesterday, I remembered. And I thought to myself, wow. Think about how one thing in your life can take you from bawling on the floor, failing, struggling, saying, why, God, why? I'm doing everything I can do, to then being on the other side of that. Now I have a team of 50 full-time employees. We're an 8-figure company on the way to being a 9-figure company, one of the fastest growing companies in certainly in the US, if not in the world, and all of those things. And I have clients every day. I had another client just write to me and say, hey, we just bought an investment property for cash. Thank you. Live launch method. And I'm getting these stories every day. And so those tears are now on the other side. And I want you to know, I can't emphasize this enough. We've all been there wherever you are right now, whether it's that you have a team and they're underperforming and you feel like they're working so hard, but they just can't get the results. Or maybe right now it's you as the primary salesperson. You feel like you can't work any more hours. You can't work any harder. All of those things. Thank you. I see you guys. Thank you so much. It's such a blessing to be able to see your comments. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. But I just, more than anything, I want to reach out to you guys. And I want you to know that if you're here for a reason. And I was you. And I could tell you 50 of those stories. Like I said, I think I've blacked out so many of them because they're so painful. But I want you to know you will cross to the other side. And live launch is the thing that's going to do it. It really is, because you know that you're an expert at what you do. You know that you can help people achieve results. You know that you have in your heart of hearts a purpose and a calling. But you do need the right microphone and the right mechanism to help you get that message out to the world. Okay?
Yeah. And I think too, if you've been in that situation, you're kind of overwhelmed and you're kind of like, I just don't know if I could do this anymore. Right. I'm sure you got to that point a couple of times where like, okay, maybe we're just calling it a day. I have a very successful career. Maybe I'll just stay over there. But again, your people are waiting for you, and you're here because there are people that are waiting for you. So while it might feel like, I don't know if I can do this again. Like, I don't know if another promise, we literally every day inside of our communities see people with wins like this. And sometimes they're massive. Sometimes they are 7-figure big. And sometimes they're just someone saying, you know what? I paid for a vacation for my family in cash. And I didn't have to put on a credit card. Or I just hired my first full-time team member and I never thought I would have enough money to do that. Or you know what? I sold people during my launch. And it's the first time ever that people bought something during a launch of mine. We have that all the time. And so what I want you to really consider is, why are you here? What's the purpose that you are meant to fulfill? Kelly started this by talking about entrepreneurship being you're an entrepreneur for a reason. What is the purpose? Why are you here? And whatever's happened before, whatever failures are in your past, failure is normal. It is part of the journey. And the part that will determine the legacy you leave is what you do after the failure.
Yes.
Kelly was crying on the floor, but guess what? She got up and she did it again, and she did it different. And she said, what do I need to change? Yeah. And now because of that, we have a room full of people earning 7 figures, buying investment properties, paying for their houses, paying for their kids' school, to go to private. We are seeing lives change because she got up. Yeah. And so if you've been in that cycle, it's okay. Yeah. It's normal. it's time to get up because you are here and you're listening to this and you've been listening to this for 4 hours at this point, and you're probably going to listen to the rest. So like, I want you to really consider what is in the future for you. Because I know the past can be rough. And when you have a lot of like, oh, you know, I put all my effort in, it didn't work. That can bring you down, but you have a decision to make right now. Are you going to let that keep you there? Or are you going to be the person that shows up for your people and does it different and says, hey, I'm here. I'm filling the gap. I believe in your results and I'm going to show up for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have so much more to cover today, but I want to take a pause for a quick moment because one of my big dreams that I've had since starting the business, and actually my colleague Nicole is over here across the room monitoring to make sure our audio and video doesn't go out here for us. And she was with me and she knew one of my big dreams was always to be able to give back. And, you know, for me, I had a lot of people in my life that made things possible for me when I couldn't afford them. And it's part of how I became who I am. I cleaned my dance studio for 7 years because I couldn't afford lessons and was on scholarship. And, you know, many people extended an olive branch to me over the course of my life. And Nicole knows one of the things that always like fueled my fire was being able to give back. And one of the things that we're really proud to be able to do is not only have a 1-for-1 business model, meaning that for every client that we close, we make a donation to a meaningful organization. Last year, we were able to make massive donations to multiple different organizations, Black Girls Code, SoGal. We're building a well in Malawi right now, and we're working with the mental health awareness, you know, but we do scholarships every single time. And so Team Unstoppable is about to announce the scholarship winner in the chat. So everybody watch it. Let's give them a drum roll. Everybody, you know, we love to give back. And we know that some of you guys may not be able to afford the Unstoppable Entrepreneur at this moment, but we do love to give back and to award a scholarship. So Danielle, why don't we tell them a little bit about what they get when they get a scholarship to the Unstoppable Entrepreneur?
This is not just a little piddly scholarship. This is going to be a game changer. This is literally going to change your life. So what you get inside the Unstoppable Entrepreneur is it's not just a course. It's not just a bunch of modules you're going to listen to on your own. You're just going to, you know, hope for the best. You are getting a world-class, accountability-led business incubator. We are going to help you through the A to Z process, not just at the live launch. That is a part of what we teach, but that is not it. That is 1/10 of what you get inside of this program. You are going to get all the ins and outs of the live launch method, right? Everything we're doing here, what we're teaching, it's great. You can go, you can implement, but what we have inside our program is literally A to Z. We have the messages that you send. We have all the templates, and we literally have everything you possibly need. But what I love about our program, what I think is so different, how we filled the gap, is we are going to help you implement what most people just put on the shelf. They just consume all the information. Let's be honest, everyone's got a lot of information, right? Yeah. The gap in our market was that people don't do it. Sometimes they don't even listen to it, right? They don't
Life happens.
They spend thousands of dollars on courses and they don't even open them. And if they open them, they don't implement. So we looked at how do we fill that gap? What do we need to do? And so Kelly, actually with Nicole, was one of the first accountability advisors. We said, hey, you know what? We're going to have a designated advisor for you. And they are going to hold you accountable to making your dreams a reality. Because a lot of people are like, I'm going to do these big things. I'm going to make a 7-figure income this year. And there's no real action. So we said, hey, we believe that you can make 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, and we're going to hold you accountable to do it. So you're going to get monthly accountability sessions with a one-on-one advisor. This is someone who knows your business, they understand your business, but they also know all of the things that we teach inside and out. Our accountability advisors go through a massive training process. So it's basically kind of downloading Kelly's brain into theirs. So when they're on the call with you, they are able to troubleshoot. They're able to see your gaps. They're able to see your weak points where you might be able to put more effort behind because this is a strength of yours. They're going to walk you through where to focus your attention. Kelly shared about how she started her business while she was still working a full-time corporate job. They're going to help you map out a schedule that makes sense for you. Because if you're working a full-time corporate job, guess what? You don't have the same time to build your business that somebody who's a full-time entrepreneur has, but you still can. And our advisors are going to help you map out your time so that you can do that. This is a person that's going to be there, not just cheering you on like, you got it, go do it. They're going to say, hey, these are the goals you set. This is the path that we mapped out together for you to get there. What are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you making it happen? Because we know the gap is not information, it's implementation.
Yeah.
It's a lack of really good sound business strategy combined with actually doing the good sound business strategy, because if you don't do it, it doesn't matter how good it is.
Yeah.
So we have advisors for every client that meet with their client once a month. And then they have office hours, which are really, really cool. Something we implemented last year, where if you're kind of working in between and you have a question, just pop on their office hours, ask the question, you pop off and go do your stuff. It's something that truly doesn't exist other places. And if you've been in this world before, you understand that this does not exist. You understand that it is insanely impossible to get in touch with anybody from anywhere.
Yeah.
You're messaging, you're emailing, you're like, who do I call? Who do I message? These are people who are invested in the growth of your business, in the health of your business, and they're walking you through how to get there. Not just throwing information at you. They're saying, hey, let me take this information and let's make sure you're making it happen.
Yeah.
So that's just one component. You want to share some others? There's like a million.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Team Unstoppable, you guys can go ahead and drop our scholarship winner in the chat. Make that big announcement now. We'll pull them up on the screen and celebrate. But I want everybody here to listen, because we're going to have one scholarship winner, but we're going to invite 266 of you guys in to join the Unstoppable Entrepreneur family. I know that if you are sitting here watching this today, you are ready for that transformation. You're ready to go from the ugly cry to the overjoyed cry. That's what I call it, right? The ugly cry to the overjoyed cry. And we want to help you make that transformation. We want you to be the face that's at the beginning of the intro video. We want you to be the person that gets on camera, and you're going to meet so many of them over the next couple of days that came in. They were scared, they were overwhelmed, they were frustrated, they were overworked and underpaid, and now they're making 7 figures in their business or even more. We want that to be you. So you can go to uerevolution.com to join. I see people already saying, where do I join? Where do I sign up? I'm ready. You can go to uerevolution.com to join us. And we have some incredible bonuses going on. And I'm going to share them with you in just one second. But I do want to make sure you understand the scope of the program. So first of all, we are the Harvard of online business education. I come from Fortune 500. I built a team from 0 to 100. I was running over a $50 million company with 17 locations all around the US. I bring the $1 billion corporate strategies from Fortune 500 and combine them with the agility of online marketing, and have used them to build our 8-figure company that is quickly on its way to 9. And I translate that down into super simple, actionable things that you can implement in your business to get real results right away. Whether you are starting at the very beginning and you are literally jumping in with a single consult to close a single client, or whether you already run a 7 or 8-figure company and your team just needs to learn how to scale your offerings online. Okay. So the Unstoppable Entrepreneur is an A to Z. It is a revolution. We call it the UE revolution, because you're revolting against the norms. You're massively simplifying how you're going to market, and you are making this thing work for you. Like I said in session 1 and 2, guys, we're everyday entrepreneurs. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm an everyday person. My husband always says you're the undercover millionaire, because I have on my Give Her Courage hoodie, right? And my leggings and my yoga pants, just like you guys do. We're the everyday entrepreneurs. And what we teach inside the Unstoppable Entrepreneur is for moms and dads and aunts and uncles and grandmoms and grandpops and husbands and wives and everyday people that you're homeschooling your kids and you're navigating the challenges of life, and life happens and we get it, which is why accountability is critical. The world doesn't need more information. You need support through implementation. And probably you have a lot of information and knowledge up here, but you haven't had someone kick your ass and say, you know what? You told me you were going to launch on this date. Let's go. You told me you were going to send X number of outbound messages. Where are we? You said you were going to hire someone by this date. Let's do that. Where are we at on your ads? Where are we at on your group? How many people are there for launch, right? That accountability is everything. But it is the Harvard of online education. And for those of you that have felt like you've gotten all of these disjointed pieces, which is what we've all experienced in the past, you've gotten all these disjointed pieces, but there's no A to Z system to follow that actually creates replicable, scalable results, your solution has arrived. So Danielle, I'll let you tell a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think that I want to just kind of hone on that part, because if you've been in this world at all, you have literally been bombarded with Instagram reels and TikTok and these little tactical things. And here's what happens. You take, oh, this is so important. And you put all your time and energy in that, and it doesn't move the needle forward, which is why you are overworked and underpaid, because you're focusing on things that don't matter. And what I love about what we do in UE is Kelly's no nonsense. Yeah. She's no fluff. It's going to be, hey, this is what you need to do to build your business. Stop doing all the rest. Stop wasting your time. Don't focus on the things that aren't going to move the needle. And let's really hone in on the specific things that you need to do to actually make progress. So you get your one-on-one accountability advisor. You get that time with them one-on-one every month, and then you have that time with them in group calls. But wait, there's more. So you also we have UE master coaches. These master coaches, there's a call every day. Some days there's 2. I think one day we have 3 calls now. And you can hop on these calls. Your advisor will sign you up, and you're going to get coaching from masters in their field. So we have a master copywriter. We have our VP of sales who runs the selling call with our sales team. These are people that are in it. They're doing it. This is their life. This is what they're living and breathing. We have a mindset call, productivity call. We have all of these calls with these master coaches where you can literally get on these calls, say, hey, this is my specific problem, and have a master coach help you walk through that problem. Or maybe you just say, hey, I'm here and I want to go here. What do I do? And you're going to have somebody do that for you. So this is in addition to your accountability advisors. This is something that everyone gets an advisor, and everyone gets the opportunity to be a part of these calls. But there's more, because I think a lot of people come into this and they think the live launch is everything. And while it is amazing, and while it gets results that are ridiculous, it's not everything. It's not all we teach, because guess what? There's more to running a business. I know that's probably shocking, but there's more to running a business than just launching. And so our back end, where we do all of our trainings, is full. It's full. Actually, it's probably going to be a little overwhelming at first. That's why you have an advisor to say, hey, just focus on this and not this. We are teaching you everything, not just from live launching. We have a copywriting section. We have how to get consults, how to close sales. We're actually teaching how to sell. I think we've kind of lost this idea that businesses have to sell online because we just put up some funnels and everything works. No, we're going to teach you or your team. If you're if you're the CEO who's not selling anymore, we'll teach your team how to sell, how to get someone on the call, and how to close the sale. We have all the social media. I mean, every kind of social media training you can want. Our goal is that you would not need to go anywhere else. We don't want you to have to ever invest somewhere else again. We want to provide it. And the really cool thing about this, because we do practice what we teach, is we're responsive, right? So when our clients say, hey, what new strategy can I use for this? If we don't know, we'll figure it out and we'll create a training for it. We're constantly updating. Kelly actually blocks off, I think it's like a day a quarter, where she re-records trainings to update our site. And some of that is because things change, right? We all know, we've all bought the course where it's great 6 years ago. It's not relevant anymore. So we're making sure everything you have is up to date. But also, as new things that we try are working, we immediately turn around and share. It's something that we're saying, hey, literally my team and I just presented to our 7-figure business owners all of the new marketing strategies that we've implemented. We said, hey, this is exactly what we're doing. This is exactly how we're doing it. And these are the results we're getting. And we're still in process with some. So we're going to come back and we're going to tell you again. Exactly what worked. So it's a responsive program. It's not just kind of a one and done cookie cutter, do this. We're constantly talking to our clients. We're always asking, hey, what do you need? Kelly does a strategic advisory every single week in there, which is totally gold. If there's any clients on here, y'all can blow it up in the comments, because this is like the favorite thing for all of our clients. But Kelly's always looking. Obviously, there's some things that she's just kind of thinking through that she'll share in these strategic advisories. But a lot of times, there's people in the group asking questions. And she's like, okay, I'll just do a whole training on it. I will just show up live here Monday, and I'm going to train you on everything you need to know A to Z for this, because somebody in our group asked, which I guess I should mention our group because it's totally different. So we all know Facebook groups, even in paid programs where we're in the Facebook group and somebody asks a question, a good question, and 27 people are like, following, because nobody has the answer. And we're all like, wow, I sure wish somebody would answer this question in here. We have our full team manning that group from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Every hour of that day is manned. So their one job for that hour is to go through and answer the question. 9 out of 10 times we have a training. in the membership site for it. But sometimes you don't. So guess what? If it's a marketing question, they'll tag the marketing team. Yeah. If it's a sales question, they'll tag the sales team. We're constantly updating because we don't want a whole list of people following with nobody answering and nobody leading. Our goal is to get our clients results. We're obsessed with it. And so because we're obsessed with it, we're there. We show up. When we learn, we want them to learn. We're not keeping secrets. We're not doing things that we're not telling our clients to do, right? Yeah. If we're sharing it with our clients, it's because we're doing it and because it's working. And if it stops, we're like, hang on, we're going to do this. We want you to be successful. Yeah. That is our only goal. It's how we stay in business, right? If we don't do that, if you're not successful, we don't stay in business. So we're obsessed with it. Every piece of our program is designed to get you results. Now, we can't do it for you. We can't go to your house. Yeah. We can't send the messages. We can't do the ads. We can't do the work for you. Kelly give you a good kick in the butt to make sure you're doing it often. Mm-hmm. Your advisors will do that as well. But you have every tool in the toolbox. Yeah. We're basically not just putting a tool. All these courses are putting a tool in, right? Maybe. Sometimes they're putting a broken tool in. We're giving you the whole toolbox. And then we're saying, hey, we're going to have somebody here to help you build step by step. Yeah. And you're going to realize what's really fun, what I love is people come in, they're so scared. They're so overwhelmed. They're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. They do their first launch and they get that first success. And all of a sudden the world opens up and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Yeah. You forget what you're capable of because you go from failure to failure to failure and you get worn out and exhausted and you forget the magic that you have inside of you. And I know I'm watching the comments and I see some of you guys like, oh my gosh, it's so much money. Yes, it is $2,500 a month. It's a $30,000 investment so that you can learn how to build a multi-million-dollar company. Yes, I'm very proud to say we are underpriced, significantly underpriced at $2,500 a month. And I always say, I'll be very honest and direct with everyone listening. I am not the coach for people that are excuse makers. I came from living just above the poverty line. I have been working 3 jobs since the day I was legally old enough to work. I was the first person in and the last person out every single day in my corporate job. I work harder now than I did the day I started my business by choice because I value hard work and I am obsessed with my clients getting results. So the Unstoppable Entrepreneur is not the place for excuse makers. If right now the price of the program feels like a lot to you, that's okay. We will teach you how to open up your money barometer and be ready to welcome more money into your life and to retool your program so it's no longer a lot of money. But, and I want to be very upfront and honest with everyone because this is why we have the brand reputation that we do for excellence. This is not for dabblers. Okay. This is not a course that you put on the shelf. This is not like a $2,000 investment that you put on the shelf and it's like, oh, I had good intentions. The Unstoppable Entrepreneur is where people come that are movers and shakers, people that want to not just be influencers, but pioneers. The Unstoppable Entrepreneur is for people that truly believe that they have a calling, a reason for being on the planet, that are deadly serious about not just making a difference, but getting paid what they're worth to do it. And so, yes, it is an investment and you want to be invested. You make an investment so that you are invested because when you're not invested in something, you're not going to do the work, right? The biggest thing I want to emphasize to all of you guys that are sitting here with us today is you made it this far because you know this is the next step for you. We are offering you a table. The table is beautifully set. It has all the best crystal. It has amazing cutlery that was passed down for generations. It has the best food you could ever dream of or imagine. It has 200-year-old wine, vintage. Okay. It has your grandmom's apple pie and chocolate cake, and it's all sitting there waiting for you. I'm really hungry right now.
Okay. But you got to say yes to yourself. And so many times in life, guys, the person who sabotages our success is the person that you're staring at in the mirror. So if you are ready to make a 7-figure leap or even more, you want to be one of those clients that gets on. I have people that tell us every single time we do these sessions, I'm going to be the client that comes on and tells my story next time. If you want to be one of those people that comes on and tells your live launch story, it starts with saying yes. And the universe likes yes. When you say yes to the Unstoppable Entrepreneur, you say yes to opening up your life. You say yes to opening up your business. You say yes to welcoming more money. You say yes to throwing away the excuses. You say yes to fulfilling your purpose. That first yes to the Unstoppable Entrepreneur is the domino that knocks down all the other dominoes. And if you go to youeatrevolution.com and you go through what's included in the program, and we've had hundreds and hundreds. I mean, you can look at our reviews on the Facebook page, and you can look in the unit section that's now guides in the Tribe of Unstoppables, and you can see all the stories, and you can watch 500 hours of testimonials, and every person has the same story. I couldn't afford it. I was terrified. I had no money in the bank. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. I had tried 100 other things. I was $100,000 in debt. And they had all the stories and all the excuses and all the same things that you're telling yourself right now. And then they did it anyway. They stood up to that fear and they said yes. And now, at the end of their video, after they tell you all the stories and excuses that they were telling themselves and feeling before they said yes, then as you watch on through the video, they tell you what life looks like now. And it looks really, really different. And I'm proud to say, as a bootstrapped entrepreneur that didn't have a fallback and didn't have a safety net and didn't have any network or connections and had no idea what I was doing online, that got to where we are as a company. Now the fact that we get called millionaire makers because every single week we have new people that are crossing over the $1 million mark in the Unstoppable Entrepreneur, coming into the millionaire calls, coming into legacy builders, coming into legacy leaders. It's the ultimate sending the elevator back down for me, getting to repay all the people in my life that mentored me, that opened doors for me, that allowed me to learn and grow so I could get to where I am. But I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, I did not get here without making massive, massive investments in myself, in my team, and in my business. And the biggest thing energetically for you guys to think about is, have you been investing in yourself and your business at the level that you want to see flow back to you, right? So energetically, it's so important that when you're ready to make that big leap in your business, that you also take that leap, so that you can put yourself in the space of energetic alignment versus energetic friction. It's not a great message to the universe when you say, I want clients to pay me 5 figures. I want clients to pay me 6 figures. I want to make 7 figures. But then you're not willing to do that for yourself, right?
And I think if you're sitting here, some of you are sitting here and you have this pit in your stomach because you know, and there's fear and there's all the past and there's the doubt. But here's what I'll tell you: the people sitting in the room downstairs that are about to go back to the people that are in our program who are having these massive wins. They had that pit of their stomach feeling. They did it anyway, and now they look at a $2,500 a month investment as nothing. And we want to help you get there. I understand that at some point it's a lot, it feels heavy, but I guarantee we can help you if you can just move past that, say, you know what? It's not going to be such a big investment. And you're going to start looking at other investments like $4,500, $5,000 a month. You're going to be like, you know what? I see the ROI. I understand that for this investment here, I could be there. If the $30,000 got you to 7 figures or 8 figures, or even a couple $100,000, that ROI was worth it. But you're at a crossroads and you have the opportunity to make a decision. You can either keep doing what you've been doing and you've seen the results of that. You know what that looks like. Or you can say, you know what? I'm going to bet on myself. I believe that my future is worth it. And I believe that the people I'm meant to serve deserve better than what the market's giving them. So I'm going to invest and put the time in. I'm going to fill the gap. I'm going to do the work. And when we get that big reward, it's not just you. It's the people that you're working with. I think that's one of the really cool things that we get to see. It's not just we're growing our business when other people are coming in. They're literally changing lives. Like the people that we work with, they are literally doing things that other people in their industries don't even think about doing. And they're making hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars doing it because they're filling the gap and their people are ready and they're waiting. So if you've got that pit of that pit in the bottom of your stomach and you're like, oh, I don't know, I really want you to get on a call with your concierge because fear is not, you're either stoppable or you're unstoppable. And fear is either going to keep you where you are, or you're going to say, okay, fear, like buckle up. We're doing it anyway. And let's go. And it doesn't go away. It's not some magic switch that you just, all of a sudden you have no fear in life, but you begin to train yourself to make hard decisions. And again, it's that domino, because entrepreneurship, leadership, it's about decisions. It's about looking at what the possible outcomes are. It's about investing, and it's about believing in the vision. And every time you take that step, you're building that muscle. And again, you can decide. You can stay where you are. You can stay where you are.
Absolutely.
You can leave this workshop, head on out, go about your business. But if you push past that fear, and if you say, I believe in my vision enough, and I believe in the people that I meant to serve enough, and you trust that feeling and you take that action, you are literally building the muscle to continue to grow and see those results over and over again.
Yeah.
And so if you want a different, I know it's so kind of cliche, but there's a real meaning behind it. If you want different results, you have to start doing things differently. We have hundreds of results we can show you. Like Kelly said, there's a guide section. You can go through story after story. Every industry, it's not like we only work with this type of. We have people doing done-for-you services. We have people doing group coaching. We have people doing
accounting,
real
legal,
estate, like all kinds of stuff.
Yes, health,
literally,
fitness, wellness.
People say all the time,
spirituality.
Yeah, they ask, so you have to be working with people helping them make money. No, we have people all over the grid in what they do. What you do have to have is the grit, the faith, and the willingness to say, I believe in that vision for me and for the people I'm about to serve, and I'm going all in. I'm committing. And I'm going to make it happen. Yeah. And again, Kelly got up off that floor when she was crying, and she kept going. So that's where you are right now.
That's where you are.
You can either stay there, crying on the floor, and keep doing what you're doing, or you can get up and say, okay, we're going a different direction.
Yeah, absolutely. So we literally shared with you 1/100th of what is the Unstoppable Entrepreneur. There's a reason why it's the world's #1 business incubator. And our clients will tell you the exact same thing. We're going to bring 3 of them onto the live session at 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, so you can meet them. You're going to hear stories from different scenarios, different industries, different, areas of life, different, backgrounds, all those things, so that you can really envision how this can work in different scenarios for you. Okay. We're still going to keep teaching over the next couple of days. We have more content we're going to share with you tomorrow. And we are continuing throughout the next 4 days. We are going to be teaching you guys about the back end sales system behind Live Launch. So we're going to be inviting you guys, of course, to join the Unstoppable Entrepreneur, but we're also going to be continuing to teach over the next 5 days, answering your questions, supporting you, helping you get your next launch on the calendar or your first launch on the calendar. We're going to continue to cover the rest of what's in the workbook. We didn't forget. We're going to keep covering more. Okay. Congratulations to our scholarship winner. We're so happy for you. I also want to mention, so not only is everything, A to Z in that conversation with your concierge, like Danielle already mentioned, connect with your concierge. They can really talk to you about what's happening in your business, what you need help with, whether or not it's the right fit for you, all those things. Obviously, you can go to uerevolution.com to join us now, but I do want to take about 5 minutes and I want to explain to you guys the one-time opportunity that we have going on right now. We've never, ever done this before, but it's a snowy, freezing winter in the Northeast. And I said, you know what? I can't be the only person that wants to dream of palm trees and blue water. And I know we're here at the Fontainebleau right now. Okay. But we want to get you guys down here too. So here's what we're doing. Okay. I am hosting a VIP intensive waterfront May 4th down here in Florida, just like we are with our legacy leaders right now. But it's going to be for the first 20 people that pay in full for the Unstoppable Entrepreneur. Now, anyone who pays in full during this open period from now until Tuesday can get a spot either virtually or in the room. But only the first 20 will be guaranteed a spot physically in the VIP intensive in the mastermind with me. We will be doing workshopping. I will be teaching. We will be doing collaboration sessions. I will be taking hot seats. You will be working personally with me for a full day. I don't even offer VIP days anymore. I use all of my VIP days for my high level leaders. So Danielle, Stephanie, Courtney, all of the people that report to me in my organization, because I simply don't have the time to make this offer anymore. If I was offering them, it would be a $25,000 investment to spend a half a day with me. Okay. And I am inviting the first 20 people who pay in full to get a spot in the room. Yeah. Physically in the room. Now, let's say you don't want to travel, or you can't travel, or you're, not comfortable traveling. You can attend virtually. Anybody who pays in full is going to get a spot. The difference is the first 20 are going to get offered a spot physically in the room. Plus, on top of that, you get a full 10% discount off the program. Okay. So you get 10%. So it's a multi-$1,000 savings. You get a spot in the VIP intensive with me. First 20 people that join actually get a spot in the room. We're keeping it capped. Okay. And anybody who pays in full has the choice of whether they want to physically be there or they want to attend virtually. But for those of you that want to skip the line, you want that feedback directly from me, you want that in-person time with me, I want to give you guys that opportunity, and I want to reward you. And I want to thank you for going all in and believing in yourself. Now, of course, we have the payment plan. Right? If pay in full is out of the question for you, great. Sign up for the payment plan. $2,500 a month feels like a lot to you. We need to retool your program. $2,500 a month shouldn't feel like a lot to you, right? We help people inside the UE program design high ticket flagship programs. We also help you close high ticket one-to-one consultancy clients. So if it feels like a lot right now, that's okay. Get in UE and let's change that. Right? It shouldn't feel like a lot. It doesn't feel like a lot to our successful clients. And many of them started where you are right now and maybe had that little bit of nervousness coming in for the first time. So again, it's happening on May 4th, Waterfront, Florida. Choice of in-person or virtual, depending on what number you are that joins. If you're one of the first 20, you get locked in for an in-person spot. You can always join virtually. If you pay in full, you get a spot in the virtual room. But I hope to see our super turbocharged rock stars there that are ready to just take this to the moon. There's a couple people that just joined us in the last launch that are already just up-leveled into builders because they came in, they launched right away, multiple six figures. They already elevated. And I said, I knew in the VIP session. I already knew in the VIP session. We have a couple people saying they're going to be there. I can't wait to see you there. Again, first 20 people who pay in full are going to get the opportunity to have a physical in-person spot. Anyone who pays in full is going to get a spot, whether virtually or in person. It just depends on where you are, how soon you join, which is why I would recommend, if you know you want to be there, join now. Yeah. Join today.
And I want to just add, because Kelly probably won't share all this, but like having that time in the room with her is literally worth millions of dollars to your business. I think back to Jack and Michelle Bosch when they had they were in the middle of their launch, message you gave them one little tip that added $75,000 to their launch. Literally 5 seconds. Kelly's brain is genius level when it comes to this business strategy and to get in that room. Right now, the only people who do that are our 7-figure business owners, and they are in there writing down everything because of the impact it has on their business. And so this is not like a little throwaway VIP. This is like legit. It's rocket fuel on your business. It's literally saying, hey, I already know UE is going to help me grow. I already know this is going to help me catapult to greatness. I'm going to throw a little more rocket fuel on it because I'm like all in and I'm doing this. So do not miss out on this. You cannot buy it.
Yeah, you can't buy it. I don't offer it anymore. I don't do any private coaching. I don't do any VIP days externally anymore because our organization requires my focus. What I do want to emphasize, I see people from Morocco and from Australia commenting on the chat, and you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here from around the globe, first of all. But secondly, you guys can join virtually. We have people right now, obviously in Canada, they just closed their borders, that are with us virtually for the VIP session. We have a whole room of Zoom people people that are with us for this Legacy Leaders Intensive right now, in addition to the people that are here. When you pay in full, you get a 10% discount. If you want to do the payment plan, awesome, $2,500 a month. It's a steal of a deal, guys. People spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to go get an education at a university, and they come out and they try to find a job, and they're in debt for decades. This is your opportunity to learn the money-making skills you're going to use for the rest of your life, And then you're going to pass on to your team, just like the Legacy Leaders are. Now they're passing that baton to their team so that they can build and grow their company for them.
Yeah, and that's another part of the program we didn't even mention. You actually get to have one of your team members in the program. So if you are someone who's like, hey, I don't really sell anymore in my business, or I don't do the social media, that's great. Your team member can get in there, get on the calls, learn all the things, and they can begin implementing. This is, again, we're obsessed with helping you get results. And we want you to be able to step out of it. We don't want you in there doing all the day-to-day. If you start that way, great. But we want your team to elevate into that so that you are getting some of that freedom that everyone talks about in entrepreneurship. So it's the A to Z comprehensiveness of this program you will not find anywhere. And you probably are like, I don't really even know where to file this in my brain, because nothing like this exists. But you are going to see story after story after story starting tomorrow of clients from all over the world. Some of them baby businesses, some of them $5 million a year. Yeah. And they all have implemented the strategies, and they're all growing. And it's different. It's different, but they're from all over, all kinds of industries. Again, you either are going to believe in the future that you are moving towards and the ability you have to make that thing happen that you want so bad to happen, and the people that you serve, you're going to believe in what they deserve, or you're just going to stay right where you are.
Yeah,
and sit absolutely. And keep going where you're going.
Yeah. So we know that there's probably a good handful of you guys that are very seriously discerning whether this is the right next step for you. Probably many that feel this is the right next step for you, but you're trying to get yourself there, right? It's a lot of feelings. It's a big decision. We understand that. And that's why we want you to be able to connect with your concierge. So I would say, go ahead and schedule time to chat with them this afternoon and really talk about, if you're ready to take that next step and what that looks like for you. This is not just about you, but it's about creating a legacy, and it's about fulfilling the work that you were put here to do and building a winning team that can carry that work on beyond you. And so we hope that we will be in this Legacy Leaders room with you one day. We hope you will be coming back to tell your live launch story. We have so much more to share. So I just want to remind you guys, we're going to finish this worksheet tomorrow. We have day 5, which is a continuation of sales strategies coming out tomorrow. We're also going to be bringing on 3 guests to tell their story and to share their live launch journey of what this looked like for them and how they made this work for them, despite having kids doing homeschooling and sick parents and, not having a fallback plan and all of those things, right? In terms of what level of business should you have already, you should know kind of what you want to do and who you want to serve. And you should be clear on what skill set you possess that is translatable to creating a transformation in the market, right? Yes, if you want to come in and make $1 million leap in your business quickly, you should have an established business coming in. If you understand that you're going to come in, you're going to learn the sales process, you're going to learn to do consultations, you're going to learn to design a program, then you can come in with a baseline, right? You can come in with a baseline. So your concierges are ready, willing, and able to answer all of your questions and support you guys. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thanks for taking the time to go through the workshop. We have so much more still to share with you guys. And I can't wait to see you guys in the room with me on May 4th and inside the Unstoppable Entrepreneur on our kickoff call, which is happening next Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.